There has been a major shakeup in the 2026 Texas Senate race. Colin Allred has announced that he is dropping out of the race, and Jasmine Crockett has announced that she is in. While she is all but guaranteed the nomination, it will be an uphill battle in the general election. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm also going to tell you what you can do to help her in the general. But first, hit the subscribe button with the bell so you'll be the first to know when we post. This is Kameron Williams, and welcome to Pragmotiv News. Watch Jasmine Crockett's campaign launch video.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
He is so unoriginal. That's the only thing that he can say about her. She's a low IQ person. Bitch, the lowest IQ person is your ass, Donnie boy. But anyway, I love that ad because she is just standing there while he is saying this stupid shit. And she is completely unbothered by it. I love it. He is so scared of her that she is living in his head rent-free along with Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Tim Walz, and Arnold Palmer's. You get the point. That is a whole apartment complex of people living in that tiny space. So now let's move on and see what she had to say at her campaign launch event. If Texas was as red as the Republicans say it is, then they wouldn't be trying to take your vote away. Just look at all these voter suppression laws. And that doesn't just go for Texas. That goes for so many other red states. Look at Georgia. You can't even hand people water in the line to vote now. They are scared of the American people having its power of voting. The Republicans are always trying to take that away. which is why we need to show up and show out in overwhelming numbers to outmaneuver the Republicans' shenanigans. She is directly talking to the people who think their vote doesn't matter. And that's a brilliant move because Texas has millions, literally millions of voters who sit out every election because they don't think their vote counts. They don't think their vote matters. Well, it does. It very much does. Donald Trump won Texas by 9 points in 2016. In 2020, that shrunk to 5 points. It is not impossible to flip Texas. It really isn't. And I spent enough time analyzing this data, so I know Texas is not as red as people think. And neither is a lot of states. Louisiana, we just had a Democratic governor. Just before we had Weenus in there. And then Kentucky. Kentucky has a Democratic governor right now. Andy Beshear. And Kansas has a Democratic governor right now. These states aren't as red as people think. So these are areas where Democrats could pick up people, and nobody should count out Jasmine. It is an uphill battle, like I said, but it's not impossible. She's tapping into the exact demographic. Democrats always, if I can talk today, y'all, Democrats always ignore until it's too late. Disengaged but persuadable voters who already agree with what Democrats stand for, but don't feel represented. This is not just Jasmine launching her campaign. This should be the Democratic Party's strategy going forward. So with her officially being in, let's talk about what's working in her favor and what isn't. What's in her favor is, first, the Republicans are having a full-blown civil war in their own primary. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, a person who says his opponent, the incumbent Senator John Cornyn, is apparently not conservative enough. Not conservative enough in Texas. Think about how extreme you'd have to be for somebody to look at John Cornyn, Mr. I vote with Republicans 95% of the time, and say, nah, that's too moderate. So the GOP is over here tearing each other apart, fighting like Real Housewives of Mar-a-Lago. And that helps Jasmine more than they realize. Because it means their donors are split, their voters are confused, their base is angry, and that all of their attention is trying to out crazy each other, which is pissing off independents instead of preparing for a Democrat as formidable as Jasmine Crockett. When your opponents are punching each other, all you got to do is just stand there and look electable. And Jasmine is doing exactly that. Second, the entire country is fed up with Donald Trump's mess. And Texas is no exception. People are tired of the chaos coming out of Washington. The economy is wobbling because Trump keeps governing like a toddler. ICE is continuing to racially profile people and ruin people's lives and hurt people. And overseas, he's fucking with all of these wars, and he's not making the situations better. He's making them worse, and he's starting new shit like in Venezuela. People want stability. People want leadership. And people are realizing Trump can't even lead himself to the bathroom, let alone a country. This overall frustration creates an environment where a fresh, sharp, bold candidate like Jasmine Crockett can actually break through in a state people assume was unwinnable for Democrats. Now, let's be real. It's not all sunshine and roses. Jasmine has a challenge on our side, too. We might be heading towards a potentially chaotic Democratic primary. James Tallarico is in the race, and he's not a bad candidate. Some Democrats genuinely believe that he has a better chance in the general election. And yes, some of the polls have reflected that. But it's not by a lot. There's ground that could be made up. But here's the thing. Jasmine Crockett has the name recognition, the national following, the momentum, and the star power that no other Democrat in Texas has right now. So it's pretty obvious she's likely to win the nomination. The danger is what happens after the primary. If Tallarico runs and loses, if Tallarico loses, some of his supporters might get upset about that and decide to sit out in the general. We've seen that movie before, and we cannot afford that. If people stay home because their candidate didn't win the primary, that could genuinely cost whoever is the nominee the race. So whether it be Jasmine Crockett or James Tallarico, we all have to come together and decide that we're going to vote for whoever the nominee is. It's looking like it'll be Jasmine, but it could be Tallarico. And everybody's just going to have to vote for whoever has a D by their name in that race, in the general election. Because we can't let Ken Paxton go to the Senate, and we can't let John Cornyn stay. Donald Trump needs a check, and neither one of them will check him. So here's the truth. If Democrats stay united, focused, and actually show up to vote with the people who don't vote often, and independents, Jasmine Crockett has a real shot. Republicans are in disarray. The national political climate is shifting. Texas demographics are changing. And Jasmine is the exact kind of candidate who can turn non-voters into first-time voters, and first-time voters into lifelong voters. It's actually possible, but only if people stay engaged, stay energized, and stay together. If we do that, we might actually pull this off. Texas might actually flip, and Jasmine might become the next U.S. Senator from the state of Texas. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow at Pragmotiv News everywhere to stay prag-motivated. Also, remember you can find us on every platform like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and iHeartRadio so that you can listen to us even when you're on the go. So head on over there now and leave a review. It really helps us out. And until next time, peace.